Hey, welcome to my channel. My name is Mike, and today I'm going to be talking through my iPad Pro and the ecosystem that I've built around it. So, jumping straight into it, this is the 2018 iPad Pro. On the back, I have a Tamfram tomography skin, and so this is of his own design, and it's just a simple 3M skin. I think it looks fantastic. I think it's a really cool design. And when it comes to the iPad, the form, the form factor of being essentially a little sheet of glass that can work as a dry erase board, a notebook, a sketch pad, really syncs with my needs. Having ADHD, I need a space where when I do get creative, I can just sketch down ideas, and even if they're not pretty, that way I can take them from concept and start to visualize whether or not that solution is going to work. And so having this operate as that sheet of glass is huge for me, and that's really the concept that I try and stick to. And so everything that I've chosen and built around it is so that this can operate in that tablet sheet of glass format. So paired with that, I've tried a couple different cases now, and this tiny owl is the best one that I've found to date. So the iPad slips in, it's lean, it protects all four corners, it has this tri-fold cover, that way it can protect the screen. You can still see that awesome tomography pattern on the back through the clear background, and then this little Apple Pencil holder I find is key because I love my Apple Pencil and it likes to run away. And so with other solutions that I've tried, either that Apple Pencil holder is overbuilt and it makes this entire system really bulky, or else it's non-existent and then your Apple Pencil is being knocked off your iPad if when it's in your bag or when you're carrying it about, and it's really easy to lose. So clear back, the tri-fold cover, and the pencil holder make it a strong contender, make it a winner in my book. I've tried the Magic Keyboard in the past, and I think that if your use case is to use the iPad as a minimized laptop for fairly simplified work streams, or even maybe video editing, then I think with one of the newer M1, M2 iPads, it could be a really good system. Things that I didn't like about it though is that it has no edge protection, and then again it has nowhere to hold the Apple Pencil, and so when I would put it in my bag, my Apple Pencil would get knocked off and get lost at the bottom of my bag. In addition, with the fact that I use it for sketching and drawing and Procreate so much, the angles are fairly restrictive. So even if you were to turn it this way and try and draw that way, one, that hinge is going to buckle, and then two, now the keyboard is absolutely useless. So for my purposes, I've chosen to break up my iPad from my keyboard and my mouse. And so this is a hermit shell case, and I'll link all of these in the description below if they're of interest to you. But inside I have a Apple Magic Keyboard up top. I've got my mouse down here, and then I can also put a trackpad, an Apple trackpad, on this side. I usually keep my trackpad at home. I use it more for my laptop setup, my desktop laptop setup, than I do with my iPad, and so I usually keep that pouch empty. But having access to the keyboard is fantastic when I'm using Procreate, if I'm using the Adobe Creative Suite, where I can use it for shortcuts, or so if I'm working from a coffee shop or if I'm at the office and I want to have a little bit of personal compute power alongside my workstation, that way I can send out emails or draft notes during my lunch or my coffee breaks. Having the keyboard is nice, and it's a full-size keyboard and doesn't take up that much more space. I think if I were to step up in the future to one of the larger form iPads, and I haven't measured this is just an assumption on my part, but I think that if I went with one of the larger iPads, those would probably be the same size more or less. But for right now, the 11-inch is exactly what I need. If I'm not in the office, if I'm not working from a coffee shop and I want to use my iPad at home, what's really cool about this setup and the mirroring that you can do on the Macs is that I can set up a stand or I could use my trifold, either way. And I can tether my MacBook to the iPad. And then if I have Illustrator, Photoshop up on one of my screens, I can mirror that screen to my iPad and use the Apple Pencil to make edits, right alongside using my mouse to make edits on one of my screens. So it's the same screen mirrored both ways, and then I have the choice of whether or not I want to make edits using the mouse or the Apple Pencil. In my last video, I walked through the Ulanzi shoulder bag and why I choose to use it. And one point of contention that I have is that even though I have the smaller iPad Pro, because the Ulanzi shoulder bag is tapered and it does have this handy little pocket in the back, it narrows at the bottom too narrow where I can almost fit it, but it doesn't fit all the way in, and it stops maybe 1.5 inches from the bottom, and that's really all I would need in order to be able to use that pocket for my iPad Pro. So a little bit, missed the mark there a little bit. So if I am going to be traveling with this, a lot of times it'll end up in my Rehose backpack, just loose, alongside the hermit shell case. Or else what I can do, I'm a big fan of independent manufacturers, small manufacturers, and so this is a Bond Travel Gear briefcase, little professional folio, and it'll fit perfectly in there. And then if I need to, I can actually slide this into my Rehose backpack, and I'll do a review on that here in a little bit, introduce you to my Rehose Buddy backpack. Or, and I picked this up off of eBay for a song, I have this tote from Dispatch, DSPTCH. And I've been looking at it for a while. I was eyeing it for a while, and it really is an awesome little tote bag. So I usually keep it empty, and then if I need to throw a bunch of items together and go out the door, I can throw my iPad in here, the iPad accessories case. I can throw my MacBook in here with it as well. There's multiple pockets for that. And then there's plenty of space in there too to throw my Ulanzi shoulder bag along with some other items. And for me, that's a key concept, is this ability to nest one thing into another. And that way I can consolidate down into one carry option, or else I can break it apart and grab just what I need. And so the Dispatch tote has been awesome for that. I use it less than my Rehose backpack just because getting to and from, especially with my daughters, being able to pick them up and carry them, I like to have my hands free, and a tote makes it a little bit more difficult, even slung over the shoulder. So having the double strap backpack is the best carry solution for me that I've found so far. So that's how I've built around my iPad and the gear that I've chosen. I appreciate you tuning in, and hope to see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye for now.